Hey everybody, this is Candice Adewale of the Loving You Lifestyle, and I am finally back with another video. Oh my God, ladies, this coronavirus is serious because that is the reason why I have not been with you all in a long time. And it's not because I have or had the coronavirus, it's because of the international situation that it has caused. So, my last video that I made, I told you ladies that I was going to be going to a new exotic location. And so, I made my way to Istanbul, Turkey, the 25th of February. And my mom and my daughter left for Florida the following day. So, anyways, um, I was supposed to leave, I think March 6th or something like that. So, anyways, in between the time that I arrived and the time that I was supposed to leave, the Turkish government banned all flights to and from Italy because the coronavirus situation was getting out of control in Italy. So, for preventative measures, they canceled all flights flying into Italy. No flights from Italy could come in. And so essentially, my flight was canceled back to Rome. And I have been in uh, Turkey ever since. And then, I could have probably flown into another country like, let's say, Croatia or Austria or something like that, and then um, fly into, flown into Rome. However, the Italian government issued a mandatory quarantine for the entire country, closing all schools, all universities, all museums, all public events, and no flights going in or out of Italy unless it was for dire business or a family emergency that would require government approval. And that quarantine is in place until April 3rd at least. So, needless to say, I am on a very, very interesting adventure here in Istanbul, Turkey. But I want to let all of you know that I am safe. I am having a good time. I actually love Turkey. I love Istanbul. I can't speak for the whole country, obviously, but the city of Istanbul is so colorful. It's like a bunch of different cultures met in the middle and just exploded. And so it is just like an eclectic smorgasbord of all different kinds of cultures and traditions. And it is a secular country, so it's really interesting to see the different dynamics where you'll see a lot of women wearing hijab or niqab, and then you'll also see women wearing whatever they want, wearing mini skirts or whatever they want. So that's really, really interesting. And I'm just really having a wonderful time and exploring my options here in Istanbul. I love it so much, especially here on the Asian side. It's very modern. And if you have followed me on social media, you will see that, from the videos that I posted, it's very modern. Actually, I like Istanbul more than Rome, to be quite honest with you. So I'm definitely exploring my options in regards to Istanbul. So, anyways, today's video is going to be about 7 ways that you can harmonize with masculine energy. To really harmonize with masculine energy, it's all about flowing versus fighting. What I see a lot of women do, especially those that have embraced the modern feminist movement as far as the negative man-hating rhetoric or the 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 different things that women will say in frustration in regards to men. um, they fight against masculine energy, um, and look at it in a negative way versus learning to flow with it and harmonize with it. So, tip number one, resist applying feminine thinking and logic to masculine alpha male behavior. This can be very difficult to balance as a feminine woman, and this does require emotional intelligence and control in order not to take everything masculine men do too personally. Um, like needing time alone, like pulling back, like not being able to multitask, like them not responding to situations the way you would as a woman. This can be very, very difficult, as I said, especially for women who didn't grow up with a lot of men around them or grew up with effeminated men. And I know for me, um, when I got married, that was really the first time in my life that I had lived with a man on a regular basis. My parents got divorced when I was 7, and I would see my father off and on, but really living day in and day out with a man, that did not happen until I got married, and I had to learn to really flow with that energy because sometimes men need to go into their zone. And sometimes I remember my ex-husband, he would come home and he would try to give me a few minutes of his time, and they say, okay, I can't talk anymore. I need to just go in my room, then we'll just talk later. And sometimes it would be frustrating because I really want to talk about something, but when I learned to flow with it and harmonize with it, it became a little bit easier in the sense that um, I learned that if you just give men the space that they need to decompress, to work out whatever little kinks in their minds, um, that need to be worked out, that you can get a lot further than if you try to press them and bombard them with conversation when they are not mentally and emotionally ready. So, again, resist applying feminine thinking and logic to masculine alpha male behavior. Men simply don't think like women, and um, you should not demonize them for not thinking the way that you think. And I find far too often that women really truly want men to act and think like women. But if they were to do that, they would not have the energy needed to protect and provide and to be that alpha male that I think deep down most feminine women are really turned on by. So, tip number 2, accept that men and women are different physically, mentally, and biologically. All the gender neutral talk these days really do try to downplay the importance and necessary differences between men and women. And it truly, truly bothers me because what it does is it puts men in a space where they are permanently wrong simply for being born male. And I think that that's very insensitive. I think that that's very um, uh, mean, and it's just not even logical. You absolutely have to take into consideration the physical, mental, and biological differences between men and women and just accept the fact that they're different instead of trying to make them into women. Tip number 3, fall back when you don't understand. I think one of the most helpful things that you can do for a woman to allow yourself to flow instead of getting frustrated with the men in your life or the men that you have to deal with, on a day-to-day basis, even at work or school, is that when they do something that you don't understand, to simply fall back and say nothing instead of bombard them with a million questions as to why they said this or why they did this or how come you um, did this or why didn't you do it like this? Just simply be quiet, fall into your feminine silence, and just let things kind of work themselves out, or at least let him go through his process, his masculine process to come to the solutions, or at least to calm down enough where he is able to receive you, and also that you are emotionally centered in order to speak to him in a way that's going to be most effective. Tip number 4, spend more time around masculine men. The more I spend time around men who are actually masculine, the more I learn to harmonize with the energy and feel good with the energy and appreciate masculinity and embrace it. So I find that the women who have the most difficulty harmonizing with masculine energy are the women who have one been single way too long, whether that is intentional or not. Those who were raised in houses full of women, and those who have somehow been hurt or abused by men and experienced dysfunctional masculinity or negative masculinity, and so they think that because they've experienced that is the norm for most men, and they apply all of their negative emotions and behaviors onto all men, which is simply not true and not fair. When you allow yourself to be open to positive, healthy masculinity, you will see that it's loving, gentle, firm, um, and that you will enjoy being around it. So make sure to build authentic relationships with masculine men. Tip number 5, appreciate the masculine, which kind of goes into number 4. But find ways every day to appreciate what men give to you. On my page, Blissfully Feminine, I used to do a segment, um, Man Appreciation Mondays, where I would just kind of shout out different men to show them appreciation, because I think that when you start finding the little ways that men add value to your life, you can see um, you can see more of it. Sometimes we talk so negatively of men, we kind of neglect to see all the ways that they are valuable to us and all the ways that we need them. And I know a lot of women who legitimately feel like they don't need any men in their lives and that the world would be a much better place without men. And I'm like, sorry. I do not want a world full of estrogen, and I need masculinity, and I need that testosterone to keep me balanced. When you are in the presence of masculine men and that energy, it brings you balance as a consciously feminine woman, and it allows you to fall back. It allows you to become even more soft and feminine and delicate, and um, a great deal of ease. And I think that sometimes as women, we forget that men want to please us, that they are here to help please us as well, and that they need to feel needed. So if you're not even recognizing the value that they bring, they lose the motivation to step up and do things. And I think the one of the things that has happened in the gender war that we see, um, yeah, I think it's grown increasingly so over the past few years, is the fact that men don't feel needed. And so they don't feel the motivation to do maybe some of the things that men were doing 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago. So make sure to find ways to appreciate the masculine daily. Tip number 6, master feminine communication style. This is a big one, ladies. Learn how to use your voice inflection to get masculine men to respond to you. Learn the art of negotiations and how to negotiate um, in a feminine way that doesn't diminish the masculine. And you will find that that can be challenging sometimes, especially if you're used to negotiating from a masculine, energetically masculine place inside of you. But when you learn how to negotiate from a feminine place, it becomes actually kind of fun and you get more of what you want. Learn to use questions like, do you think that it would be best if we did A, B, C, D, E, F, G versus just telling and being blunt? Learn the power of your silence. Silence, feminine silence is so important. And sometimes you can accomplish more with silence than you ever could by speaking. Learn about body posturing and feminine body posturing. Men are biologically hardwired to respond to women in a particular way. And our body language is one of those ways that we can communicate that we are receptive to his masculinity. So learn feminine body posturing. And if you need any help, then you can go to my website, which I will leave in the information box. And you can also message me for my free MP3 on feminine communication style. So just go to my website, send me a message, and request my free MP3 on feminine communication style, and I will go ahead and email it to you. The last tip, tip number 7, is learn to stroke the male ego. Ladies, men are literally willing to die over their egos. They do it like every day, like for stupid stuff. Use the male ego to harmonize and get more of what you want. Could include giving compliments. This can include maybe preparing his favorite meal. This can include giving him peace, um, quiet time. This can also include, and it also should include, physical touch. Can be a simple pat on the back or a hand on the shoulder, but it can also include sexual touching. So never ever underestimate how much men need to be touched and want to be touched by a feminine woman, even if it's in a non sexual way. And then, even with the sexual way, make sure that you're giving frequent sexual touch to your man. And never, ever, ever underestimate the power of a really good blowjob, ladies. Like, you can get a lot by giving strategic, really good blowjobs. So, I think that we basically have to learn how to make the men in our lives feel like everyday heroes, because that's going to be the juice, give them the juice that they need to keep on going. That's what they get up in the morning and go to work for. And when they don't have that, they just lose motivation. And sometimes they'll look for it in any form that they can get it, including seeking work wives or porn or even affairs, both emotional and physical. And not saying that that's an excuse for the affairs. I'm just saying that sometimes that is the reason. So, anyways, I hope that you have enjoyed this video and that it has added value to your life and your consciously feminine journey. I want you all to be sure to follow me on Instagram. I will leave the information to my Instagram page in the information box. Also, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to this video. I am almost at 1,000 followers, so please be sure to share this video wherever you can, because I'm going to do a special giveaway when we get to 1,000 followers or subscribers rather. So anyways, I hope that you all are having a wonderful um, day, evening, wherever you are. Make sure to be safe. To all my beautiful, blissfully feminine women and friends in Italy, just stay safe, and this too shall pass. And stay wherever you are, just stay safe. Again, I'm still here in Turkey, and I'm enjoying my journey and just really trying to make the best out of everything. I always say making lemonade out of lemons, and that's really what I'm doing. And this is just a part of my journey, and I'm just flowing with it. So, again, you ladies, take care. I will see you in the very next video. Ciao.